I think it's fair to say that the news of the day is Rob Gronkowski has apparently just been traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Uh, he's been traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and is now going to be joining Tom Brady. This was talked about for about a few weeks after Tom Brady signed. Many had said Antonio Brown is maybe now going to go to Tampa. Bruce Arians, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, shut that down, and now it looks like Tom Brady at least is getting one wish, which is he's getting probably the most comfortable pass catcher that and when I say comfortable, I mean that Tom Brady is the most comfortable with any of the pass catchers that he's ever played with. I would make the assumption that Rob Gronkowski would be high up on that list. Now, in my last segment about the NFL's, my review on the NFL's all decade teams for this past decade, I said that Robert Gronkowski is Tom Brady's ideal pass catcher and probably the best pass catcher that he's ever had. Now, when I say that, I don't necessarily mean that Rob Gronkowski is a better target and is a better pass catcher than Randy Moss. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Tom Brady is most comfortable with Rob Gronkowski, and it seems like he's going to be joining Tampa Bay. But not only is that impressive that Tom Brady's going to have Rob Gronkowski, but Tom Brady also has two outstanding receivers that he'll now be playing with. Mike Evans, who I believe is a top 10 receiver in the NFL, and Chris Godwin, who just had one of the best statistical seasons amongst NFL receivers this past season. And I believe that now you have Rob Gronkowski joining, in my opinion, two top 20 receivers in the NFL right now. I don't think too many people are going to argue that. And it's going to be, it could be a scary sight. Now, I think when I had heard about the news of Tom Brady signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a few weeks ago, the first thing that I had thought about was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' success depends mostly on Tom Brady and how he's playing and how he's feeling. Tom Brady is now in his 40s, and when you get in your 40s, it becomes more difficult to play any sport. Now, we're talking about football. There's going to be 300-pound defensive linemen that are going to be running after and sacking and tackling Tom Brady. And I think that he's obviously been able to stay healthy as of recent. I know last year, he had some minor injury concerns, but he did play every regular season, or at least started every regular season game. And I think that if Tom Brady brings his A game, if we can still see a glimpse of the Tom Brady that we saw over the past years with the Patriots, maybe not last year as it wasn't one of his best years, but before that, if we can see some more of that Tom Brady, I think it's going to be a little bit of a scary sight for the NFC South. Now, me saying that, I don't automatically mean that. I'm not automatically saying that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now the best team in the NFC South, because frankly, I don't believe that's true. I still think the New Orleans Saints with Tom Brady, Mr. Thomas, who was basically deemed the best receiver in the NFL last year as he led the league in yards, and they have Alvin Kamara out of the backfield who is a very dangerous running back, and again, one of these type dual backs where he can run the ball down the middle, he can run it outside, you can throw passes to him, not only screen passes, but he is such an athletic player that he's able to run many different kinds of routes at a very high level, and is just as good as some receivers out there in terms of catching the ball and running routes and just being a force on the field. So the New Orleans Saints are a great team. I still don't think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are as good as them. I don't see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the AFC South. I think their best bet right now is to be the best football team that they can be, and realistically, I see them finishing second or third. But we still have to remember about the two other teams that are in the division. Now, Carolina is not coming off their best year. Cam Newton's injured. Cam Newton probably won't be a member of the Carolina Panthers next year. Their starting quarterback looks like it's going to be Teddy Bridgewater, who's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league because I'm a former Minnesota Viking fan he's a former Minnesota Viking and I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, and he's one of the seems like one of the nicest guys and one of the most genuine guys in the NFL. Rides his bike to games and very approachable guy. I had a chance to speak with Teddy Bridgewater's family when I watched him play in Miami. They were sitting very close to where me and my mom were sitting at that game, and very nice people. So I hope Teddy Bridgewater does well in Carolina, and I think that Carolina is going to be a good team next year. Regardless of the amount of things the changes that they're going through now. And they have one of the Buccaneers' former defensive linemen, Joe McCoy, so be interesting to see what they're able to do. I still think the Falcons are a pretty good team with Matty Ice and Julio Jones, who I personally believe is the best receiver in the game. I know I just did say that Mike Thomas had the best receiving season last year. I still believe that Julio Jones is the best receiver in the NFL, and he's proved that over multiple years. Let's also remember Calvin Ridley, former Alabama receiver, very quick, very durable, able to catch deep route passes, and even though he had some injury issues towards the end of the season, he's been a relatively healthy guy to my understanding, both in college, and we'll see if he can maybe hold that up in the NFL as seasons come. But I still see the Falcons as a very good football team, and Tom Brady has no easy task. I see the Buccaneers finishing with between 8 and 10 wins. I don't see them exceeding 10 wins. I think they have a lot of work to do, but this is, again, no knock against the Buccaneers. Tom Brady is one of the most accomplished athletes of all time, up there with Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt, and those type players in terms of the legacy and what they've been able to do in their respective sport. Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, the list goes on. But Tom Brady is accomplished, and he has the ability to be a top quarterback in the NFL. And I think he has probably the best pass-catching core that he's seen for many years. He has Chris Godwin, a very good receiver. Mike Evans, very good receiver. They also have O.J. Howard, who is a former first-round pick. He is still a very athletic tight end. He was phenomenal with Alabama and under Nick Saban, and he had a little bit of an off year last year. I believe he had some injuries that he was dealing with. It'll be interesting to see if he can have a bounce-back year. He'll be practicing with Rob Gronkowski, and I believe that he's going to have a better season. They could be a very deadly 1-2 punch among tight ends in the NFL. So I mentioned that the Buccaneers have a solid 1-2 punch with their tight ends, a solid 1-2 punch with their receivers. I also believe they have a solid 1-2 punch with their running backs. Ronald Jones Jr., a similar style to what James White and Deion Lewis were able to do under Tom Brady with the Patriots. Both of them able to catch passes out of the backfield. Both of them able to run the ball pretty well. They both had some pretty solid games last year, collecting yards and collecting touchdowns as one of the best 1-2 running back punches in the league last year, in my opinion, that people didn't really talk about. It'll be interesting to see, though, if the Buccaneers will look to make some moves with their offensive line. I think it's very fair to say that Tom Brady has had some outstanding offensive linemen in the past, some all-time great offensive linemen, Pro Bowl offensive linemen, and if they can make some upgrades there, it'll certainly be a very dangerous offense next year in the NFL. It'll be interesting to see what the Buccaneers are able to do defensively. Ndamukong Suh re-signed a few weeks ago. He's one of the best interior linemen, defensive linemen in the NFL, and the NFC South is no walk in the park. Like I've mentioned, it's Tom Brady's old division where he played with the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. In many seasons, those teams were not above 500. They were not very good teams, and ultimately Tom Brady and the Patriots were able to make them look even worse because of the gap in some of those years between the other three teams and the Patriots. But like I said, it'll be interesting. Can Tom Brady return to form? And one of the reasons why I believe he signed in Tampa Bay, not only because of the receiving core and some of the other players that they have on that team, and maybe not because wanting to stay with the Patriots in the cold weather that they play in. The older you get, more difficult it is to play in snow and worse conditions. The other three teams in the NFC South, two of them play in a dome. Both the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers play in an open stadium, but the weather there seems to be pretty good most of the year. So I think this is a big advantage for Tom Brady to have a better year than last year. I think one of the other key factors in Tom Brady potentially taking his game back to where it was 2-3 years ago will be Bruce Arians. Many forget that Bruce Arians has worked with some of the top QBs in the NFL. Andrew Luck, Ben Roethlisberger. He revived Carson Palmer's career. I would say that's pretty fair to say with the Arizona Cardinals, and they were able to go to the playoffs and make some noise. So in my opinion, Bruce Arians is one of the best head coaches in the NFL, and it will be interesting to see what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are able to do this upcoming NFL season. And let me know what you think of this video. If there's anything I'm missing, players that I'm missing that you think I should have mentioned in terms of this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team and what Tom Brady and the Buccaneers acquiring Rob Gronkowski, as we found out earlier today, means to the rest of the league, means to the NFC South. What impact do you think it's going to have? Do you think the Buccaneers will be a top team moving forward? Is Tom Brady now and Rob Gronkowski playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Do you guys and girls see many of those Patriots fans now becoming Buccaneers fans? That's another interesting thing that I want to look into, and that'll be definitely a topic moving forward in terms of NFL segments that I'll be releasing over the next week or two, maybe a little bit longer. But yeah, let me know what you think about this video, and I'd just like to thank everyone for the support. So yeah, take care and stay well, everyone.